Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Nick Drinks. I am your host, Nick Britsky, and we have a special transatlantic guest right here. We have Ian Burrell. He is the global rum ambassador, the rum ambassador that knows everything. If you've been to a Tales of the Cocktail event, if you've been to any of these big national events, you've probably run into him. He is the sweetest, most delightful person in the world. We are so happy to have him direct from London. Ian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thanks for the big build up, man. I don't know what to do. That build up, I'm gonna let you down.
Well, it was so funny because, I had known you from all your exploits on the web. And
Yeah,
when I like saw you like in between a class passing and I'm like, Ian,
mm,
Ian, Ian. And you were so
yeah.
nice. You probably had no idea who I was. So again, I love you. You're great. You do so much for rum. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me on your show because I've seen your show and it looks amazing, so funny. That's what I
Oh
love,
my gosh.
entertainment and life. That's what the industry is about. That's what the industry is about. So thank you.
Absolutely. And in these times, I feel like that's what we need. We need the energy. We need the
Yeah,
excitement. You're kind of making your own fun at home. So let's do
correct.
that. Let's talk about this great rum. This is
Yes.
something that you founded. It is a partnership
Mhm.
between these two huge rum
Yeah.
producers. Talk a little bit about Equiano.
So Equiano was a brainchild of myself and then some of our partners, where we were going to try and bring the best of both worlds. We're going to bring some great rums from the African continent and some great rums from the Caribbean because it never been done. Normally, when you see blends of rums, they're from the same island or blends from a same distillery, but no one ever thought about blending rums from two massive areas like Africa and the Caribbean. So that was always a dream to do that. And this was a great opportunity to bring two great distilleries together to form the world's first African Caribbean rum.
And the Caribbean rum is Foursquare. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah,
Yep.
Foursquare in Barbados, the award-winning Foursquare, because they keep winning all the awards for making the best rums in the world.
If you ever talk to Richard, who's the head distiller there, kind of the big wig,
Yes.
he's
Yeah,
brilliant and just
he
absolutely
is.
fascinating. The other one
Yep, legend.
is Gary's.
Grays. Yeah,
Grace.
Grays. Yeah, so Grays in Mauritius. Now, Mauritius has about 6 to 7 distilleries. I have a new one there. And they make different styles of rums from molasses or rums from fresh sugarcane juice. So Grays predominantly makes rums from molasses, but great tasting, beautiful rums that they age. They specialize in aging in cognac casks, either once-used cognac casks or new French oak. So we wanted to do the French oak style of rum made in Mauritius and blend that with rums from American oak, once-used bourbon casks from Barbados, and see if we can come up with a really great blend. And unfortunately, we have, according to the critics.
And I feel like Grace doesn't have a lot of exposure. I was not very familiar with them. Do they actually send products over to the States?
No, you're right. So Mauritius is an island. Although they've been making and drinking rums for over 150, 160 odd years, their distilleries are not really known outside their own little tiny community. If anyone goes to Mauritius, they're marveled at the great quality rums there. So I wanted to help give exposure to the tropical island. Mauritius is basically east of the main part of Africa, but an island in the Indian Ocean, so it's East Africa. But yeah, I've known their rums for over 15 years, the styles of rums they have there, and they're starting to make a name for themselves in Europe, but they haven't really come to the US yet. So hopefully this opens up the doors for a lot more Mauritian rums coming out of that beautiful island into the USA.
So talk about a Mauritian rum. What would that have? Is that related to anything that maybe is more kind of on the public spectrum, or is it totally new, unique, cool, or at least not new, but like something that maybe a lot of Americans haven't been exposed to?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I mean, what it is with Mauritian rums, there's lots of elements that really make up. So it's hard to actually pigeonhole a Mauritian rum. And one of the reasons why is the influence that they have from countries that occupied that particular island. Now, when the Dutch went there, there was no people living there, so they didn't colonize the actual island from like the Spanish type of way they colonized the Caribbean. The only thing that was on the island was dodos, and apparently the Dutch liked the taste of those dodos, and that's why they're extinct. So there was only dodos there, and they ate them all. Then the French came to the island, and then the English came to the island. So while the French came there, they obviously stamped their authority in how they make spirits. They like to use French oak. They like to use fresh sugarcane juice, same as Martinique and Guadeloupe in the Caribbean. And then the English came there, and they like to make their spirits using pot stills or alembic stills, batch distillation, and from molasses. So on the island of Mauritius, they do two styles of rums. They do rums from fresh sugarcane juice and rums from molasses. So influenced by two different types of old colonies, English and French. So it's very hard to pigeonhole that particular style. But the fact that it's very fruity, dry, very rarely you'll get premium Mauritian rums with sugar added to it, but they do add lots of spices and flavors to some of their local rums. So it can go from very spicy and flavorsome with fresh fruits and spices added to it, to the unadulterated, untouched, elegant spirits that you might be thinking you're drinking an Armagnac or a cognac, because that's how elegant they taste.
I want to talk a little bit about the name of the rum, because there's an unfortunate tie with a lot of rum and Caribbean products to slavery. And the gentleman that you've named this after, he's a writer, he's a freedom fighter. Talk a little bit about him.
Correct. So Olaudah Equiano was, as you said, a freedom fighter. He was an author, an abolitionist in the 1800s, so the 18th century, early 18th century. Now, he was enslaved when he was about 11 years old in Africa and brought to Barbados, where he was then passed on and sent to the US. He was sent to, I think it was Virginia. And then from Virginia, he then came over to United Kingdom. All of this before he was 12 years old. It's funny because our rum makes that same journey. Our rum comes from Africa. It goes to Barbados. And then some of the rum there, when it's blended and bottled at Foursquare, some of the rum goes to the US, like the bottle you have in front of you. And then some comes to the UK for the European market. Now, Olaudah Equiano was an amazing person at that particular time, because not only did he write one of the first books published by an African, which actually highlighted the terrible trauma of what enslavement of Africans was about, he also bought his own freedom by selling rum back in a time where there weren't many freed slaves. So he bought his own freedom, selling rum, and used that freedom to come back to the UK and then empower British people about the slave trade in the Americas. And because of his book, it helped inform the Slave Act. It helped inspire people like Wilberforce. And in 1807, 10 years after he passed away, the Slave Act came in for the abolition of slavery. So he was a very, very important person in freedom and equality, some of the things that we are afforded today.
And what a perfect time to release this and have it talk about it. I mean, the social platform is perfect. So thank you for bringing this. Thank you for adding to his voice and adding to his story. Let's dive into the rum.
Oh, no problem. So, yes.
So kind of talk me through I know.
I can't have it.
well, talk me kind of through. So if you're virtually tasting this with me, what should I be smelling? What should I be catching? Yeah.
So excellent. So some of the aromas you pick up on the rum are, as I said, they're all natural. That's the great thing about it. So as soon as I open up the bottle, the first thing that comes up is that warm, fruity, almost like cooked fruit. When I say cooked fruit, orchard fruit, so you get a little bit of apricots and peach and raisins, sultanas. Again, that's my own perception because everyone has their own sense of smell. So you get a really nice fruity nose, but you also get a bit of wood as well, a bit of oak. And that oak normally would come from, say, the Foursquare styles rums. They have significantly a sweet, woody type of note, which is really pleasurable on that first aroma. So that's what I get on my first nose. But I don't know what you get. You might get something completely different.
Well, and just looking at this color, I mean, this right here is, rum's interesting because I feel like more and more rules are happening every day, but there still is a little bit of this wildness where people can get away with adding some colors and, different additives. You're straight. You are straight rum, right?
Yeah, we're completely straight. Yeah, nothing added to the rum, all natural, except for water to water it down. But yeah, I mean, and it's funny you should say that with the adding of stuff to rums. In certain countries, they're allowed to do that. In other countries, they're not. And this is another reason why I love to try to really focus on the country of origin. Because in Jamaica, you're not allowed to add anything to your rum, or it becomes a flavored rum. In Barbados, the same thing. In Cuba, the same thing. But you're allowed to add things to your rum, say from Central America, like in Guatemala, in Panama. So it's very important to understand where the rum is from to understand the rules and regulation of that particular style of rum.
That's an amazing tip right there.
So this is completely different because it's an African Caribbean rum, but because of the people involved in the brand, like a Richard Seal from Foursquare in Barbados, nothing is added. It's all natural flavors and spice. So That aroma you're getting is all from the blend of American oak and French oak that actually help create tropically age that particular rum.
Yeah, it's definitely like dried
Yeah.
fruits, a little bit of the tropical
Yes.
smells. I
Yeah.
smell a little bit of the wood, a
Yeah.
little bit of sweetness, but not overpowering
Mm.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
do get a natural sweetness from the aroma. Ready for taste now? Oops. Oh, I'm feeling envious. I'm feeling envious
Ooh.
because I'm sitting in my car and I can't have a drink.
So that,
So it's got
wow.
a.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't mean, you were about ready
Yeah.
to go on a tangent, and I've
Oh
now
no,
had it
no.
a couple
I'm
times.
just going by from memory. Yeah. I'm
This,
just
I
going by
mean,
memory. On memory, when I get that initial taste,
mhm,
you get that bit of sweetness, just a touch of sweetness,
yeah,
and that's what we call a sweet rum, but not a sweetened
yes,
rum. A sweetened rum will have a long finish of sugar at the end of it because of the sugars that are added to it. Well, this would dry off because it's natural sweetness coming from the woods. And that dryness is an important part of the actual rum because it causes that like hygroscopic sensation on your palate, which means you need to get some more liquid on there to soothe it again, which means you have to drink more, even better. So we get natural sweetness with a medium body dryness, and then all of those fruit flavors starts coming and get a little bit of tannins on the palate, and then a little bit of peppers and spice, or even some people say aniseed on the finish, that little tingle on the end. And a lot of that's coming from the cognac cask and the Mauritian rum, that finish part of that blend. 86 proof as well, so a little bit stronger than the regular 80 proof spirits you might get out there.
and I think when you look at the general public, certainly the people that are diehard rum fans, they're going to get this, they're going to know
Yes.
it, yes, they're sipping
Correct.
rums, they
Yeah.
totally get it. For folks that are maybe new to a
Yeah.
sipping
Yeah.
rum, this doesn't have
Yeah.
that fire, this doesn't have that, that hit you in the face,
Correct.
big bold alcohol.
Yeah.
This is, even for being 43%, this is
Yeah.
very subtle and nuanced and delicious. And that, I think,
Yeah.
kind of the strength of the distillers. So all those great fruit flavors, the wood, the characteristic can come out, and you're not just hitting the head,
Yeah.
with this bold alcohol flavor.
And one of the reasons why is, and that's testament to the skills of especially Richard Seal from Barbados, because the rums he uses are aged rums, are genuine tropically aged. He may use a rum that's 8 years old, but 8 years old in Barbados, the reaction inside a barrel in American oak, you need to age for like 24 years in Scotland to get that type of flavor profile in there. So he's using mature products to create the base or create a blend of rums like that. And you get that on your palate, you get that on your nose, and you get that as you ingest it. And it's funny you should say sipping rum, because when people say to me, is it a sipping rum? I say, no, it's a drinking rum. So you can sip it. You can sip it. You can have it on the rocks. You can have it with a twist of, one of my favorite ways is on the rocks with a twist of orange peel. But if you want to have it in a highball, nothing wrong with a highball, because it means you're drinking it in the way that you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You want it in a cocktail, a nice daiquiri, a right hand, rum Manhattan, rum Negronis, then perfect. It works well in all of those drinks. So it's a drinking rum that you can sip.
Absolutely. And then so the price point, at least in the US, is $59.99. So that is a
Correct,
little bit on the high end for me for mixing, but again, great product in, great product out. I mean, you're going to get a delicious daiquiri.
Yeah. Correct. And it's just, all we have to do is charge more, Nick. Nick, just charge more when you are in the bar and using this as the base. Someone comes in there and they say, oh, well, you know what? I don't mind paying double the price for a daiquiri. Make sure the rum in there is quality. Is like, got the rum for you.
Well, and absolutely, when you look at like some of the local guys like Bad Luck, they're bringing in, tots of rum from the 70s that, that's going to be a much higher price point, and they're still making delicious daiquiris as well. So, Ian, thank you so much. How can people learn more about you?
Thank you.
And how can people learn more about you and more about your rum?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's just the Rum Ambassador. I'm always on there doing my diaries, going around the world and having fun and drinking rum, and hopefully encouraging other people to do the same thing. With Equiano, you can go, Equiano's got the website, www.equianorum.com, or even follow Equiano on Facebook or Instagram. So you can find us. I mean, with me, just Google Rum Ambassador. I'll come up.
I love it. Ian, thank you so much. I appreciate all your time sitting through all our technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a Nick Drink show without some technical difficulties. To everyone out there, cheers. No thank you so much. If you want to see more of Nick Drinks, you can find me at nickdrinks.com. You can find us at youtube.com/nickdrinks. And of course, nickdrinks.com, all spelled out for Instagram and social media. Till next time, everyone. Cheers.